so I don't forget. Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's get started right away. Does anybody have any questions about the process before we get started? Yes. Is it Matti?
Matteo.
Matteo. Okay.
Matte.
Mate.
I don't know English very well, so if you speak fast, I may not understand what you're saying. So it's just for listening purposes, maybe difficult for me.
Okay. So people who are speaking when Mate is the listener, please go slow, maybe, or pause more often. So that helps people out. And I appreciate you being willing to participate in this, even though English maybe isn't your primary language. So thank you very much for willing to do that. Questions from anyone else before we get started? Okay. Well, then, just as a way of kind of connecting before we enter the process with the topic, could we just go around and maybe have people share something about you that people might find surprising, just as a way of sharing something personal that has nothing to do with why we're here today? And I'll start. So let's see, something surprising about me. A year and a half ago, I did a 5-day hike on the Appalachian Trail in weather that was in the low 20s and the teens, and it was a great experience. Who'd like to go next?
Hi, I'm Isabel. One of the things I think has been surprising more people is that I did 4-year closed retreats as a nun, and in a Buddhist Tibetan tradition. Yeah.
Thank you. Alexandria? Okay, your mic's off. Or who would like to go next? Alexandra, you want to go next? Can you hear me?
Thinking something surprising.
Okay. Doesn't have to be significant. Could be just a little.
Okay. Being in XR is for me kind of surprising.
Okay.
Giving my background.
Okay.
Here in Italy is surprising everybody when I say it. I love baking cake. Is not very much, but
you like baking cakes? Yeah. Okay. Alex? Are you there?
Sorry, did you say Alex or Al?
Well, I said Alex because that's what it says on the screen.
Oh, got it. That makes sense. Sorry.
What is your name?
Al. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Okay.
And something surprising about me, God, whenever you actually think about it, it is kind of hard. I don't know. I guess the thing that was surprising to most people, the typical age in my area for starting to drive is 16. I didn't start to drive until I was 24.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, let's go ahead and get started with the process. I will. So, how many people have? For how many of you is this the first time that you're participating in an empathy circle?
This is my first time.
Okay. Show of hands. Hands up. First time.
Luz, sorry.
In Empathy Cafe.
Okay. Yeah, first time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right. I just wanted to get a lay of the land. So I will be the first listener. I'm going to ask someone to volunteer to be the first speaker, and I'll be the first listener just so I'm demonstrating what reflecting someone back sounds like. And we'll do 4-minute turns. And again, the topic is how can we deal more effectively with conflict in XR? Or if you haven't experienced a lot of conflict in XR, just conflict in general. Or one of the rules of the circle is that you don't have to talk about the topic. So when it comes to you, talking about whatever's alive for you in that moment that feels important, talk about that, because that's what keeps things real and meaningful, is for you to talk about whatever you're feeling in the moment. So like I said, I'll be the first listener. Who would like to be the first speaker?
If you don't mind, I will be the first one because I have to leave.
Okay. And what's your name again?
I'm Isabel.
Isabel.
Alexander told me, sorry, taking the time, but
okay,
of one person.
Okay, so go ahead, Isabel, and I will. Well, and I'll just say, as facilitator, I will, if people are talking a long time and not pausing for reflection, I may say, okay, could you please pause and let the person reflect back? That's something we don't do in normal conversations, so people are not used to pausing, and that's fine. So, as a listener, you can ask the person to pause if you need them to by holding up your hand or saying, could you pause? And if that doesn't happen and I'm perceiving as a facilitator, I think it's needed, I'll break in and say, could you pause for a minute? The other thing I will do as a facilitator, other than keep time, is, if as a listener you're doing something other than reflecting the person back, like if you're giving your opinion or you're responding to what they're saying, I'll say, well, wait a minute, you can say whatever you want when it's your time to speak, but right now your job is to reflect back what you're hearing the person say. Okay? All right. So go ahead, Isabel.
Okay. So I wanted to bring a conflict that started in XR, and I think it's going to happen as long as we're going to gather people very different and people that are angry about the situation of ecological crisis. So there's a lot of anger always. And also we're not enlightened, so we are quite caught in our own conflicting emotions besides anger. We have a strong ego, strong opinion, etc., etc. And one question that it brings me, it's how to approach people that are in conflict, and how to bring a good solution that it's not imposing my own resources. I'm using some resources from the Buddhist tradition, but I don't want to impose this resources. And there's nonviolent communication, etc. But when there's a heat moment of conflict in a general assembly, it would be interesting to know how tools we can use.
So let me ask you to pause. Let me ask you to pause there. So I'm hearing you say that conflict is to be expected, particularly in something like XR, where different people are gathering and they have very strong feelings about what's happening, and people actually have a lot of anger. They're very upset about what's happening, and they don't necessarily have skills to deal with that. People have all different levels of understanding of themselves and understanding of skills, and that you would very much like to figure out how to respond to those situations, like in a citizens' assembly, and that you also want to be careful not to impose just the ones that you know on others. Like you have some knowledge of things from the Buddhist tradition and maybe other things too, nonviolent communication, but you don't want to impose those on other people. Am I hearing you right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is one of the things. Can you repeat the question? Is about
Is there more?
conflicting?
Is there more that you wanted to say on the topic, or did you want me to repeat the question of the topic?
I wanted to repeat the question of the topic.
I think the question is how might we deal more effectively with conflict in XR?
Okay. I think one way directly is this one: active and compassionate listening is really looking at the other person. If someone is acting out of really these conflicting emotions, having this sense of compassion that whatever conflict is coming from a place of pain. So when we recognize that it's coming from a place of pain, I think naturally compassion comes. And when compassion comes, we open ourselves more to the other person. And this is what I try to do. It doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
There's really people who triggers our sensitive points, and but I think this is one of my tools. And when I can't use this, I really pause. I just stop and put myself back in order not to follow too much my impulses, because usually they might not be the clearest or the most appropriate ones for that situation.
Okay,
so I think those are the two tools in the right moment.
Yeah, pause there. So so you're saying that you think compassionate listening, reflective listening, like we are practicing here, where you're really listening carefully to what's going on in the person, both what they're saying and what they're feeling, and trying to recognize that when people are angry, that or very charged emotionally, that often what is coming out is their pain, and that if you can remember that, then you feel compassion. You usually feel compassion for the person, and that doesn't always work, because sometimes sensitivities that you have get triggered, and that what you do when you notice that happening is you stay silent. Because if you're triggered, then you might respond in a way that's not really helpful, that just increases the conflict instead of increasing understanding. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah. And that when we are in the place of compassion, there's something that opens more to the other person, that it's irritating us or something.
Yes, and that when we do respond to someone with compassion, by hearing them and hearing their pain, there's an opening, a heart opening that happens that maybe helps more with conflict. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So, amazing.
You feel heard? Good. So I'm curious if people heard the timer go off. So there's I'm keeping time on my phone, and it's a little chime that goes off. I'm just cueing people, so that's what that sound is. Okay, so now I become the speaker, and I select someone to listen to me. So I'll select Mate. Will you listen to me? Okay, let me start the clock. Okay, so I resonate very much with what Isabel has said. I would say that the way I try to respond to conflict is very much exactly what she described. And my experience of how that works and how sometimes I have difficulty with it is true for me too. So I'll stop there.
Okay, Lou, you said that you resonate very much with what Isabel says, because you think this is the same way you try to make your empathy circles. So yes, you find very similar to what she said. I understand understood that. And is that right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, and that I have the same sometimes success and sometimes difficulty.
Oh, also that. Thank you.
Yeah. So the thing that makes me want to say more about is one of the ways for me to stay in compassion, or to kind of see the pain or humanity in the other person, has to do with an idea that comes from nonviolent communication, which is that all human beings have the same basic needs. So we all want acceptance or respect or meaning, or, you know, different things that all people want. We just have different ways of pursuing them or expressing them. I'll stop there.
You said that your way to keep the empathy going on during your listening activities is to remember one of the main point of the nonviolent communication theory, that says that everybody has needs, and so maybe you try to recognize those needs into your speaker, and this is the way in which you keep the focus on his emotional behavior.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for hearing me so well. Yeah, so if I can, even if I disagree with what the person's saying, or even though they're like attacking me, telling me something, some judgment of theirs about myself, if I can think about, what need are they trying to express right now, that helps me see the human being in them, and it helps me set aside whatever judgment they're expressing, or whatever idea they're expressing that I might disagree, or any action that they're talking about that I might disagree with. I'll stop there.
Maybe you said that even when people try to attack you or to say offensive things to you, when you try to listen to them, you try to focus again on the needs that maybe they are trying to express, and set apart the things that may hurt with what they are saying.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for hearing me so well. I feel heard. And it's your turn.
Okay, I may choose Alex.
Is that okay with you, Alexandra? Or Alex? I'm sorry, you were choosing
Alex.
Al. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
So is that all right with you, Al, to be the listener?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to explain a conflict in XR Italy, that I overview this conflict because it was mainly on the base website, the Italian base website. This person tried to continue posting offensive things, or just insinuating something for the SOS circle in Italy, and keep going on this way for a long time, is two months from now. And I am in a digital well-being circle, so I'm the one who try to focus on the regenerative culture things. So it was very difficult to me because we are few in XR Italy, also in the national level, that try to give a help in this way. So we didn't have a way to um, to deal with that. So it was very, very difficult.
So can you pause there? Can
Yeah.
you pause there? Is that okay? So go ahead. I'll try. Go ahead and reflect back.
Okay. I think I didn't quite catch some of what you said, but from what I'm gathering, that someone was saying in some sort of publication for about 2 months now, negative things about your SOS circle, about, you know, your XR Italy, and it's been very difficult for you because having to deal with someone saying things like that in a public way is hard to handle. Would you say that's accurate, Mete?
Yes, it was also because I was one of the few that has to deal with the regenerative culture aspect of the things, and I go on because so we didn't have a way to deal with that, and the problem was from both sides because everybody has needs the national structure and this person. So we didn't succeed in make the needs match. Okay, so this is the problem, because from one hand we had to keep the platform safe, and because after all this posting, people stopped going on base, the Italian base side, and it was a problem for the operational aspect of the matter. And from the other side, we cannot like silence this person. So I was here also to try to catch some hint to make the things work better, because now we are, unfortunately, we are agreeing in ban these people from the platform for 2 months, because we read that in XR Switzerland they do almost the same.
So go ahead and pause there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you were put in charge of trying to handle this situation, Mate, by being put, I don't want to say in charge, but you were helping lead the working group on regenerative culture, and this person was to be put on a 2-month ban because they were making a toxic culture online to the point where a lot of people weren't going online anymore. And yeah, you were trying to emulate what Switzerland was doing. I would be curious to hear how that has worked out so far.
So did she hear you accurately, Mete?
Yeah, of course. I feel heard.
Okay.
Yes? Oh, good.
Thank you. Okay, Al, your turn.
Okay. So then I have to choose somebody?
Yeah, I mean, Alexandria is Isabel has to go. Okay, bye, Isabel. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything. May you continue.
Okay.
Bye.
So Alexandria hasn't had a chance.
Just give him 1 minute, please. I will come back in a minute, okay?
Okay, all right.
Okay. Shall I choose, I guess, Alexandria then, and just wait for her to come back?
Yes, and we'll wait for a minute and see if she actually comes back. If not, we will proceed.
Okay,
I guess maybe
sounds
she's
good.
just wanting to say goodbye.
That's very fair.
So I'm
And
gonna pause the recording for a second.
Oh, has it been a minute now?
Yeah, well, so Alexandra's back. I guess you can't
Oh, perfect.
speak. Are you on? Okay, yeah. So Alexandra's back.
Excellent.
So Alexandra,
Vá, adeus, Isabel. Beijinho, obrigada. Just because Isabel was leaving.
so are you willing
Okay.
to?
Sorry.
Are you willing to be the reflector for Al?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. So let me see if I can be concise. Always the trouble. We have a few conflicts flaring up with some individuals in our group. Mostly they seem to be conflicts in communication style. some people are very, or actually both of these people are very strong-willed, and one of them is very forcefully speaking, can lead to other folks feeling kind of bulldozed, kind of like there's so much strong communication coming at them, they don't have room to talk. I'll go ahead and pause to let you reflect that back.
Okay, so what I get is that in your group you are having some conflicts in communication or some difficult communication, because there are some people that have kind of a strong ego, and they are thinking that they are the ones that most have the need or the willing to speak, and don't leave space for other people to also to participate and communicate. Is that it?
I'd say that's pretty accurate, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, and
at
as a
least as best I can tell.
yeah, as a facilitator, I just want to say, you know, if what the person reflects isn't accurate, it's fine to say, no, that's not quite it, or yes, you got this part of it, but not another part of it. So I want to encourage people to do that if that's
Got it.
needed. Okay, go ahead.
I think with this person who speaks very strongly, with they have a lot of passion, and it is just how they operate in the world, how they move through the world. They just have a lot of passion all the time. And so that is very overwhelming for a lot of people who are in my group. And I guess maybe ego could tie into it, but I think it's just the level of passion is just sort of not been most of our experiences. But the other thing that is a problem is that the two people, the passionate person and the quietly passionate person, I think they are butting heads because they don't really understand each other that well. They don't understand that the passion is coming from the same place, and are not able to see that maybe they have different ways of trying to the same goal, and don't want to take the time to understand that these other ways might be valid for, different situations. And I'll pause to let you reflect on that.
Okay, so I think you are trying to say that there are some people that have so much passion that sometimes it's difficult for them to realize that other people have other ways of being, and so they don't understand very well other person, and sometimes it gets kind of difficult them to understand each other.
Yes, that's accurate. And I heard the chime go off, so I imagine we're switching it up now.
Yes. Do you feel heard, Al?
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
so.
Do you want to say, you can take time to say one more thing. You really only got like 2 things to say. So you could take one more speaking turn if you'd like before we switch.
I guess the main thing that seems to be a problem is that both these folks are from different generations. Both of them are generations older than mine, and the most passionate one is a woman, and the other one is a man. And so I think the man is having trouble hearing such passion and strong belief in what she thinks is correct without having some, patriarchal lenses make it hard for him to see it clearly. And that would be, I don't know if you want to summarize that, Alexandra.
Okay, so what you were saying is that those people are from different generation, and one is a woman that is the most passionate one, and sometimes the man, it gets very difficult to understand every thing that she tries to communicate, and probably the differences of ages, or even because they are from different sexes, it's kind of different, and sometimes the man is kind of patriarchal to the woman.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate. Yeah. I feel heard.
Okay. So Alexandria, it's your turn, and everyone's had a chance to listen once so far, so you can select anyone you want to reflect you back.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one more people here in our group. Sorry.
Yeah, only 4 now.
Okay. So I can speak to you, Lou.
Okay.
Okay. So the question was about conflicts. I really think that we totally need to have some practical tools to manage for instance, in our general assemblies, where sometimes there is 30 or 40 people from all different backgrounds and ages, and sometimes it can become very stressful and confusing. So I think we really need to have some very easy tools to manage the conflicts.
So I hear you saying that you think that you really need XR, and you would like some tools, simple tools, concrete tools for managing conflict. And you see this particularly in situations like a General Assembly where there's a lot of people, and it's usually very diverse on lots of different dimensions. And when people are having trouble hearing each other, or there's conflict, you need some kind of tools to deal with that.
That's correct, and that is one reason why I'm just making this workshop. We and my friends, because we are trying to learn, and to in the next General Assembly try to propose to start making an exercise on empathy cafe, and try to figure if they really accept, and they think that it is a useful tool to try to use. And also we are trying to make a workshop on nonviolent communication, because it's really we really need to do it.
Yeah, so I'm hearing you say that the reason that you came today was to check this out as a tool, and to see what else you might learn about how to deal with conflict, and that you're hoping to take this back to, let's say, the next meeting that you're at, or next General Assembly, and to try it out and see how it works. Yeah, you're curious to see how that will go. And you also think that nonviolent communication is a very good tool.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I feel heard.
Okay. Anything else you want to say, or you feel done?
No, I'm really expecting and curious about all this material that XR are trying to give to everyone. So my congratulations.
Okay, so you're feeling some appreciation for XR, for gathering materials and making them available to people, and you're really curious to see how those will work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, all right, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we have 4 minutes to speak. We're taking 4-minute turns, but you don't have to use all 4 minutes if you feel like you're done. That's fine too. Okay, I'll speak to Al, if that's okay with you.
Yes, yes, it is okay.
Okay, great. Well, so I'm feeling some joy and some hopefulness, excitement, listening to the examples of conflicts that people are having, and the way that people are able to are hearing each other, listening to each other in this circle. I'm encouraged by that and excited by that. I agree that nonviolent communication is a powerful tool also, and I think the empathic, to the degree that nonviolent communication supports empathic listening, kind of deep empathic listening, by listening for feelings and needs. I think it is actually what we do when we're doing a good reflection, when someone's doing a very, a very accurate reflection. I'll stop there.
Okay, let's see. So, I beg pardon, I'm mildly distracted at the moment because I'm getting to have my first meal of the day, and it is a bit of a distraction. I beg pardon.
That's okay.
So, what I'm hearing you say is that you're very excited to be a part of this process, and seeing it all, come to fruition, so to speak. And let me see. Beg pardon. One of my creatures on this side is giving me some trouble. And I think I would like you to repeat the latter half of that, because
Sure.
I was not able to give it the attention I'd like.
Sure. I was just saying that that I agree that nonviolent communication is a powerful tool, and that that is one of the tools that we're actually using when we do reflection in a circle like this. Listening to the different components of what someone is saying and reflecting those back. That's a form of nonviolent communication. It's a piece of it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that this is an exciting tool in our toolkit, that we have this opportunity to learn to communicate this way with each other and connect with each other this way, in a deep, meaningful, seeing each other humanity kind of way.
Yeah. And I'll say too, I have a lot, the reason I have a lot of confidence in empathy circles is I've taught communication and conflict resolution for a long time. And the simple structure of this activity supports learning without a lot of training. And the structure of it also supports in kind of it seems deceptively simple, but just the little bits of structure that are part of the circle helps people to really hear each other, and to even to hear themselves, to understand themselves more. I'll stop there.
What I'm hearing you say is that that this is a simple but strong and easily accessible form of communication, a skill that can be learned without a lot of I don't want to say work, but shall we say like a book learning kind of work put into it, something that can be gained quickly and used quickly, effectively. And so it could be an excellent tool in that manner.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really meaning it can be learned without a lot of instruction. And people learn more from doing it, and I think that's powerful.
Bean, I hope you feel heard.
Yes, I do. So your turn.
Okay. Gracious. Let me see. As someone to speak, and then I choose a.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's it again? Okay. All right. So I guess I will choose Mate this time. Does that sound good to you, Mate?
Okay, just try to speak more like
Slowly.
slowly, please, because I you speak really fast, so I missed some words. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Even people who are native English speakers tell me I speak too quickly. Yeah, so I guess I'll probably revisit what I was talking earlier about the two individuals, the older man and um, the woman with a lot of passion. Because it's just starting to develop into an issue, and so I'm trying to see how possible it is for me to take care of it before it becomes a very large issue. But I think trying to bridge between the two of them will be tricky because both of them are not willing to be vulnerable with each other because they have acted in ways that are let me think if there's a better way I could say this, are triggering to each other. They have made acted in a way that has a lot of emotional weight, and has already caused a lot of damage to each other. And so they're not willing to be vulnerable with each other. And I'm not sure how to bridge that gap. And I'll pause for you to repeat back to me, Mate.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe you said that those two people that you speak about before are not willing to meet one with the other, or you like fear to make a bridge between them because the fear is that they may not want to expose themselves to one to each other to show them a vulnerability. So you just fear about that. I maybe I missed something. I don't know.
No, I'd say that you're accurate. That's exactly it. I don't know if it is already too far, but it could be that it mostly was with this the last interaction we had that I was there for. It went badly because it was late at night, everybody was tired, and everybody was hungry. So I think maybe that might have made it much worse than it might have otherwise been. But still, it is a tricky situation to navigate. And so that's mainly what I'm thinking about at this time, is how I can help them to bridge the gap, or at least consider bridging the gap. And I'll pause to let you repeat, Mate.
Oh, thanks. I think that you said that last time they met, it was late at night, so everybody was tired, and you said that the situation maybe is not very comfortable now because of the last time they met, they had an argument, and this way you're not sure that you can bridge them one near with the other. So tell me if I missed something. I think I have.
No, I think, again, you are correct. I think mostly the thing I'm dealing with it is, yeah, I don't know if I can bridge the gap between them two. Obviously, I'm not the only person there, but so far I have been sort of helping people to bridge gaps. and it's been mostly me, but maybe it is that I need to appeal to the strengths of others in my group to see if there are others with the other skill sets that I don't have or ideas that I don't have that could help bridge the gap between this man and this woman. Sorry, I know it's very noisy on my side, and I'll pause to let you repeat.
Thanks. Maybe you know that you're not the only one that is trying to bridge the two person. So maybe you'll ask other people about their knowledge in that field, so that together you can fix these. You can fix things up.
Yeah, that's accurate. And I think honestly that might be all I have to say about that.
Okay, and the timer did go off. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, Mate, your turn.
Okay, I think I'm gonna choose Alexandra. Okay, Alexandra.
Is that okay with you, Alexandra? It is.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I'll start. I was like comparing the two experiences of empathy cafe or empathy group that I had, this one and a previous one that they in the previous one they said to me not to stop the who is speaking, because and like you have to repeat what you heard just at the end of the flux that the people speaking does. So I was wondering which is maybe why there are pros and cons in both situations. I think to stop people and say, oh, I repeat that to feel you understood, to make you feel understood, and the previous one, I will respect your flux, what you are saying, and then at the end I just summarize what I perceive from your thoughts, your heart. Stop.
Okay, so what I understood is that you are trying to compare this training with another one you made previously, and now we are trying to ask people to pause when we need, when we are sure that we can translate, or we not translate, we can tell you what I really understood, and I pause when I have the need to do it, because otherwise in the other train you just go ahead and don't stop the speaker, so just let the speaker talk everything he wants, and you just try to gather the kind of the feelings and the thoughts that you understood, but you in the previous one you don't stop it. It can have both situations can have good things or bad things, so you are trying to figure out which one is the best. Sorry for my English.
All right, perfect. Is accurate everything apart from the last few words. I'm not like try to figure which is the best one, just to make okay the comparison said in sometimes I can use that kind of model, other times I can use the other one, and I'm also thinking about your kindness of you all, because one in the with each other to say it's always accurate, and also with me that I'm not like not English native speaking, so I'm just making fatigue to understand, and I worried not to understand what the other person is saying, so maybe I'll hurt him or just not and I'm not feeling him or her understood. So, but in any way you will like give back good feedbacks. So this is very good.
Okay, so what I understood was that you are really not concerned which is perfect, this going on with stopping or not, because sometimes you can use one way or the other, you can use another way. And also you are a little concerned, as I am, about our English, because it's not our native, not our mother tongue. So sometimes it could be kind of difficult to understand clearly what the other person is saying to us. I also feel it, and that was what I get.
Okay, thanks. I feel heard.
Your turn. Great. Your turn, Alexandra.
Now it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, so I can talk to Al.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay. So, as we in Portugal, in Lisbon, we had a very, very, very big conflict some months ago, because there were kind of two group of people. That one group of people was going with the 10 principles of XR, and the other group, they were not following the structure of XR. So we had a very big conflict, and somehow it's something similar to what you speak, because there was two women and three men that were completely going into a very bad and hard conflict. So I think I understand your feelings about that.
Mhm. So what I'm hearing you say is that there was in Portugal a large conflict between two XR groups, one where they were following the 10 rules and another that was doing it differently. And some of it seemed to stem from a woman and then three men who were having a similar issue to what I was having, which was they were really getting under each other's skin, getting very strong arguments with each other. Or would you say that is accurate?
Yes, it is. um, and I tried to mediate the conflict, but unfortunately I really tried several days, but they were not able to listen even. So they were very focused on their own thoughts, and they were not able to open to new incomes.
So what I I think that you're saying is that you did your best, you tried your hardest to do the mediation, but it was not enough. Unfortunately, they were not open to hearing the ideas or the reasons for struggle from each other. And so it did not go as you had hoped. Would you say that is accurate?
Yes, it is. And sometimes when I was hearing our conversation right now, I think how sometimes I think it's quite impossible to solve these hard conflicts because we cannot enter inside of each one head, and because people don't really are not open to hear different things, so it's quite impossible. And when you have a lot of people, sometimes can be really difficult. And what can we do in those very hard moments? I don't know. I really don't know. Hopefully, now I think that it's not only here, because I heard about other countries that are facing similar difficulties.
Mm. So what I'm hearing you saying is that it's both a comfort and also not comforting that other countries are having the same problems, and that it's sort of a human issue. It is a common issue that people have trouble connecting with each other and hearing ideas sometimes if interaction goes poorly, if the connection can go poorly, it can be very hard to reopen that connection. Is that would you say that is accurate?
Yes, and what can we do in those very hard circumstances? What can we do? Because you can be, you want to have, if the other person does not want, it just close, and you are not able to reach the other person. In those situations, what is the best option to do? When it's really difficult to do, what are the best options in those cases? Because we really had a very, very art assembly, and terrible one. But now things are getting much better.
That's good. But not to get distracted. So what I hear you saying is that what can you do when things are, sorry, my bird is very loud. What can you do when things are going badly? Sometimes there's nothing you can do but wait it out. Like it sounds like it's getting mildly better there right now, and that you're just doing the best you can. Sometimes it's all you can do. I feel like I missed some things there, but
So
would you say that?
Yeah, and I'm just going to break in because we don't have a lot of time left. I just also heard you expressing worry that there might not be anything that you could do, that you're really hoping that to discover something, but you worry that there might not be anything that could be done. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're probably going to get called back into the other room in a few minutes, and I wanted to just have it each I wanted to have a minute for people to share how they experienced this. And I also just wanted to say, I'm going to take prerogative as a facilitator to say, I think there is a solution. I think there are solutions. And if we had more time to talk, I had about 3 or 4 things that I wrote down that I was going to say to try to help deal with these things, some strategies. Like role playing, using this process to get people who are having difficulty listening to each other, provide a structure where they can listen to each other. And if they can't hear each other in this kind of listening, then you as a facilitator could reflect the person. If the other person can't reflect them, you could reflect them and then say to the other person, so do you hear what I'm saying? Could you say that? What I just said, could you say that to them? And so you can kind of assist them in hearing each other that way. Those are a couple things to do, and I could say more, but so I'd like to just hear from a minute from each person how this was for you.
I could go first.
Okay.
I would like to hear more, by the way, Lou, because that does sound very interesting. And I really like this. I always think role play is very powerful. So that's all I have to say, because I want to leave time for you to be able to say more things. Okay,
we have 1 minute before we get pushed back into the other room. So quickly, Mate and
no, I didn't get my role now, but I think I had to summarize what I understand or how I managed in the past those things.
Or just how this was for you. How was this for you?
This one, very, very good, because I know I'm not alone now. Many of you have got conflicts. So.
Okay, Alexandra.
It's my first time, so different experience, and yes, to be a listener, sometimes it's difficult. Yes, it's interesting. Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. We're going to get pushed.
Waiting for the last minute. Okay, everyone's coming by. Welcome back, everyone. If you're like in our group, we're all chomping with more to say. So it's kind of a short time. We like to go for at least 2 hours, and with the topic of conflict, I think there's still more people coming. So with the topic of conflict, it's like you just need, I don't know, several more hours to just kind of get started. We do have limited time, so unfortunately we had to cut it short. And being a large group, we need more time at the end for debriefing. So we're now going to go into, I'm going to have 2 questions. So the first question is going to be just what's your experience with the empathy